and welcome to another Orange Coast College mathematics video. In this video, we're going to learn to add and subtract polynomials. You don't need a lot of background to do this, so let's get started. Now, the secret to adding and subtracting polynomials is combining like terms. And what we mean by that is how we can add and subtract polynomials that have only one term. Now, I can add or subtract terms in a polynomial as long as they have the same variables raised to the same powers. These are what we call like terms. You can think of a variable as like an object. And then when we raise that variable to a power, that becomes a new object. So for instance, you can think of x squared is like apples, x is like oranges, and then no variable at all is like bananas. Okay, so I can add or subtract terms that have the same variable or variables to the same power. Now, you'll notice these parentheses here, but since we're adding, you can just remove them. So this really just becomes x squared minus 5x plus 7, and then plus 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. If we were subtracting, we'd have to do a little bit extra here, but we're not. So we'll come to that in a future example. And now just find the terms that are like terms. So we have x squared term here. Okay, we have the x terms here, and we have constant terms here. Okay, so x squared plus 3x squared. How much x squared do we have? We have 1x squared. If we add 3x squared, we have 4x squared. Okay, if I have negative 5x and plus 4x, then that is a total of negative 1x, or just write negative x. And then finally, we have 7 minus 1 is 6, positive 6. And that's it. Here we have our second example. And now we just use the guidelines laid out in the first example. We can combine terms or add or subtract terms as long as they have the same variables raised to the same powers. Okay. Now, as I mentioned before, there's one thing we have to do, which is subtracting. So this first polynomial here, we can just remove the parentheses because there's no sign in front of it. So it's 2a squared plus ab minus 9b squared. Now for this second polynomial though, we're subtracting. So what that means is we're going to apply the negative sign to each. When we remove the parentheses, we just take the negative sign and apply it to each term. So we're going to multiply each term in here by negative 1. So that means we have 4a squared times negative 1 gives us negative 4a squared. Okay, and then we have negative 3ab times negative 1 gives us positive 3ab. And then negative times b squared gives us negative b squared. Okay, and then again, we combine like terms. So we have an a squared term, so you have to find the matching term. So a squared, here's another a squared here. So we can combine those terms. Okay, so we're going to combine these. And then we have an ab term. So even though we have an a, right, it's raised to a different power, we also have a b variable. So these are like not like terms, for instance. So here's an ab term, here's an ab term. Okay, and then finally we have a b squared term. So here's b squared term and here's b squared term. Okay, all right, so now just add up the like terms. Okay, so 2a squared minus 4a squared is going to give us negative 2a squared. ab, so it's 1ab plus 3ab gives us 4ab. And then finally, negative 9b squared minus b squared. So negative 9 minus 1 would be negative 10. So we get negative 10b squared, and that's all. Here's our final example. Now we have more polynomials. Now we have, we're adding this, subtracting this, adding this, but really we just do what we've done in the previous two examples. Okay, so for the first polynomial, we can just remove the parentheses because it's a positive term, right? There's no negative sign in front of this, so we're good. So you get u cubed minus u squared v minus v cubed. For this second polynomial, we have a negative sign in front, so we just reverse all of the terms. We get negative 4uv squared, and then negative v cubed, so that's positive v cubed, And now we have a plus here, so we can just remove the parentheses. So we get positive 3u squared v minus uv squared. And now we have a lot of terms, but you can combine any terms that have the same variables raised to the exact same power. So basically just hunt around. So we have a u cubed here. Do we have another u cubed term? And the answer is we do not. Okay, so we just have one u cubed. The next term here, we have negative, I'm going to draw a line through right when we've used a term here. So now we have negative u squared v. Do we have another u squared v term? And we do. It's over here. So we have negative u squared v plus, so it's negative 1 u squared v plus 3u squared v is going to give us positive 2 u squared v. And we've used both those terms. Okay. Now we have a v cubed term. Do we have another v cubed term? And the answer is we do. So we have negative 1 v cubed plus 1 v cubed. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0, so let's cancel out. So that's just they just cancel each other out. And then finally, we have uv squared. Do we have a uv squared term? We do. So we have negative 4 uv squared minus 1 uv squared. So that will give us negative 5 uv squared. And then we've gone through all of the terms. And that's it. And that's it for adding and subtracting polynomials. If you practice this a little bit, I'm sure you'll pick it up in no time. Until next time, have fun.